earlier that IcekKnight is comfortable going off stage against a character that lives off stage in Wii Fit Trainer. So I think if you're playing Min, that sounds like hell.
Oh, so true.
If Greninja's just going out with those back airs and fairs, like where do you even go? Whereas I feel like Snake's gonna have the recovery, the mix-ups that we were talking about with like the B reverses that'll make it a little bit easier to land. And then you're able to place the grenades and the C4 on the ground to cover the spaces that Greninja likes to hang out in. So you can kind of cover yourself. We also see so much dash attack from Greninja, and if you're sitting in shield with the grenade in your shield, then it's your combo and not Greninja's combo. So I think that Snake actually makes a lot of sense in this matchup, and I'm not a Greninja player, but I feel like I would hate playing against Snake as Greninja. Just because of grenade.
You basically have to give up using dash attack. Like down tilt, you can still, if you use it early enough before the grenade hits the ground, or if you know, the grenade is behind Snake, then the down tilt won't catch, but the dash attack every time is going to hit that grenade. So you have to kind of mix up your game plan here a lot. And you can already see IcekKnight just kind of dancing around, getting caught by the grenade, and suddenly 43% down. This is exactly what we were worried about.
Okay, yeah, and the down tilt from Avien, not really seeing that move super often for Snake, but I feel like it does a great job of covering that same ground space that we typically see Greninja using that dash attack on. But pretty even percents here. I think getting off of the ledge is going to be a problem too. Love that turnaround.
Oh my God. I forget how big Greninja's pivot grab is sometimes. Yeah. Oh my God.
No, it like sucked him in.
Yeah,
it was like a black hole.
Straight up vacuum. Nikita getting stuffed out by the water shuriken. That's kind of a nice little interaction. I did not know was even, you know, something that you would think about in this matchup.
Yeah, because the water shuriken wasn't used a lot against Noodle because it wasn't very helpful against the projectiles, but it seems to be working really well against Snake's projectiles in that grenade. So we might be seeing that a little bit more. We're seeing that IcekKnight is like disengaging, hiding underneath the other platform on the other side, and using the shuriken to kind of poke the grenades away without having to commit to anything. Really smart roll there from IcekKnight too to avoid that C4 trap. But now just back in this space, like you don't want to use that dash attack, but you don't want to commit to a run-up grab either, because I don't feel like Greninja's grab is super strong as far as his tools go.
No, yeah, it's not much that you can get guaranteed off of it, right? You're just kind of setting it up an edge guard here, which, oh my goodness, I guess if you're throwing out fairs for free as Avien, IcekKnight said, thank you, I'll take that to the bank. Down tilt fair to close out the first stock.
And now you have Snake underneath that platform. He's got the C4 and the two grenades set up too, so it's really hard to approach him in that scenario. But now that the grenades are no longer on, I think this pressure that we're seeing from IcekKnight is making it so that Avien's not super comfortable pulling the grenades anymore either. So when he's in that like situation where he has everything set up, he's got like the whole saw house going on, you just have to like disengage. But as soon as everything's gone, that's when you go in, because that pressure makes it so that he can't set up that trap again.
Yeah, and we can see, just like you're talking about, IcekKnight, anytime that nothing is out on the stage, he's trying not to even let Snake have one frame to pull out a grenade. But as soon as you're off stage, Snake can choose his pick, and instead of setting up the wheelhouse at the ledge, chooses to pull out the Nikita instead. I like the mix-up there, that it did even up the stocks very nicely, and these grenades just trading damage, and IcekKnight on Greninja, much lighter character than Snake, so it's not really favorable to trade this damage.
You're my goat when it comes to remembering all of the names of all of the special moves. What is Greninja's down B called?
Substitute.
Substitute. I feel like that could be beneficial offstage against the Nikita as well, if you're able to use that, but it's like a mix-up if Snake's ready for the follow-up off of that, which I'm not sure how much lag Snake would have off Nikita in that situation, but that could be a problem if he's ready to follow up with like an up tilt if you're getting back onto the stage.
That's a good question. We saw his substitute being used once when Avien did have the wheelhouse set up. I think he had pulled something else out, maybe it was like a forward smash or something, and IcekKnight used substitute downwards, bounced off the ground and landed on the platform so that Avien didn't even have time to do a turnaround up tilt. So, I mean, we can see that it is useful, and IcekKnight is even like familiar enough with the angles to know when it's not, when it's punishable, when it's not. So it's going to be about when you mix that up. Now that we're done with that time drive, sorry y'all, there was a lot of action that ultimately ended in Avien losing a stock.
I also feel like, I forget what I was gonna say, so I don't feel like, never mind.
Well, sometimes it's just, sometimes you don't even need to feel, you just gotta do.
Yeah.
And so.
Oh my gosh, the shield pressure here.
Yeah, so much vertical movement.
Okay, but now just throwing out these water shuriken again. Oh, what I was going to say is I like the way that IcekKnight is using the throw invincibility to deal with the grenades too. Like he's seeing that Avien has the grenade in his hand or right next to him, and so he waits and throws when the grenade's going to explode, and then he doesn't get hit with that percent either. Oh, great call out there with the drop shield into up tilt for the stock. But now 92%, and you're trapped on the platform. with Greninja underneath you, and we saw in the noodle set that IcekKnight loves that up smash on that platform, so you have to be really careful about that.
Oh yeah, and I mean, Snake's like short hop is not very high. Full hop doesn't even hit the platform, so landing up there is going to be off of a disadvantage state. But unfortunately, sometimes in disadvantage, you just have to end it for yourself. Avien taking himself to the top plat zone, and IcekKnight takes game one. Receives game one, maybe is the better
I think
way
it
to
should
phrase
be 0.5 instead of 1 on the scoreboard.
You got to give Avien some credit for getting it. Man, that was interesting. There's a lot of small interactions. The reason we're just constantly stumbling over our words in this matchup specifically, like that we haven't in previous games or previous matchups, is just there's so many micro interactions that are happening. Avien with the turnaround grenade shield to ensure that the grenade drops behind you so that IcekKnight can't pressure shield with down tilt. That's like another thing that we didn't even get to point out, the use of substitute in certain situations, Nikita versus whenever you choose to set up C4 grenades at ledge. There's too much to focus on. And I mean, it just goes to show how much both of these players are thinking about at any given moment that we can't even articulate it to you, you know, game over game.
Yeah, because I feel like Snake just has so many tools that make him such an interesting character, and then being able to combat all of those tools can be very difficult. But I feel like IcekKnight's doing a fantastic job. Oh, okay, never mind. We switched to the Min here. I honestly feel like the Snake was working.
I agree.
Yeah, but going to Hollow Bastion here with Min, I think that's, like we said, the biggest issue is going to be when you're off stage. What do you even do against Greninja? IcekKnight is so comfortable going off stage, using that shuriken, again, to push him off, and you just, 26% only on IcekKnight. He's just so comfortable at the ledge, and especially off stage, and Min just does not have the tools to fight back.
And I usually don't say like this with such confidence, but I think that Hollow Bastion's a bad choice if you're going Min. I don't think that you want to go to the stage where it is more claustrophobic. It's the same issue that we saw in an earlier set where you, like, in theory can plank under the platform like we saw in, I think it was Noodle versus IcekKnight, but IcekKnight's so comfortable on the stage because you get all the claustrophobia to push your opponent out, and Avien can't back up to set up the arms because, you know, you don't have a lot of space to work with. The only thing you're doing is you're stuffing out IcekKnight's ability to do full hop nair approaches when you're under the platform, which is such a niche interaction that I don't feel like the IcekKnight's even fishing for at this point.
And you do, okay, that's nice coverage there. I do think the platform could be beneficial if you're using the arms to like cover. If you drop through, you can kind of cover a lot of the stage. But I think the biggest thing is you only have Nair to really protect yourself when you're at mid-percent, or when IcekKnight's at mid-percents. That's the only thing that's going to fight him off. And so the grenade was scary for IcekKnight because if you run in with that dash attack, if you run in with a grab, you can get hit with the grenade and then you're able to get that reversal. But with Min, she doesn't really have that. So IcekKnight can just put the pedal to the metal and just go in, and we're seeing that right now. I mean, he is not taking a break. He is constantly throwing out this aggression.
Yeah, absolutely. And so deep we went. Avien said, you know what, this is a bad idea. I'm going to go back to Snake. I think just chose to not even bother with the recovery. IcekKnight looking unbelievably comfortable in that situation. I think part of it was the matchup. I don't think that Min does super well against Greninja, and I think part of it was the stage. IcekKnight had already, you know, played against somebody with a similar like approach style. And found plenty of success on that stage. So instead, we are switching to small battlefield where it's a little bit less claustrophobic. You have the top platforms that you can use in disadvantage off the ledge in advantage state whenever you want to like do a full hop to catch like a rising Greninja. You have that ability, and we're switching to Snake. And I'm just going to stop talking because we are just hoping that they're going to do what we say at this point.
I mean, we might see a swap back to Min, so it's still like important information. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, will we though? Because
if he wins this game,
he can't even change characters. You have to stay on the same character, I think, or at least you have to pick your character first.
Yeah, you have to tell them that you're switching first.
Right. So it is currently 2-0 IcekKnight, and you know, I would also imagine if Avien wins on Snake that he's not planning on switching back to Min. At least you would hope so. The Snake did so much better in that game 1 than the game 2 Min.
Okay. Yeah, and again, these grenades just really clutch for Avien, getting a lot of pop-ups in the air. We did see a, yeah, just not ready for that tech. We did see a lot of combos off of it, but we're also seeing drop combos too. So if we're able to see those be more consistent, that could be really beneficial because it's so much percent, and it makes it really hard for IcekKnight to approach.
Yeah.
Nice roll in there on that tech chase too to avoid the follow-up. That could have been scary, even though it only at 54%. If we see those combos that we're seeing from IcekKnight where he pops you up in the air and then finds the fair off stage, it could be really hard for Snake to deal with.
I love the vertical play from IcekKnight here. Playing around retreating aerials to catch Avien running in, and then hard aggressing whenever Avien is maybe least expecting it right here. Hydro Pump not catching.
Yeah, I love that fair from IcekKnight too. We saw that in the noodle set where he's just jumping up with that back air and covering the high recoveries. Cypher from Avien is just you're a sitting duck once again. Like, it's so hard to recover with that. So we see a lot of high recoveries from Snake in general, but IcekKnight showing that like the double jump height from from Greninja is so high that it's really not that helpful for Avien to go high.
Yeah. And I also like the use of substitute up because there's no shot that Snake's chasing you that high, you know?
I've never seen that.
I've never seen Snake go that high without Cypher.
No, I mean, like, I've never seen the substitute high. I feel like I only see it, like, off stage in a lot of situations. But, yeah, that's...
Guaranteed.
Yeah, just guarantee they're into that up tilt. But the use of, like, the vertical substitute seems to be really helpful and just very different.
Yeah. Vertical up and vertical down, we've seen that both from IcekKnight this set in different, form factors of success, just as a nice mix-up around the projectiles. But if Avien is ever ready for it, there is a chance that it can be punished. So I do like the use of it only sparingly.
I'd like to see more empty lands from IcekKnight too. Like in that situation, we saw that Avien was shielding and had 2 grenades next to him, and IcekKnight still pulled the trigger on the fair. Maybe just like empty landing and going for a grab or something. Or, okay, just doing that as well could work. But just trying to avoid the extra percent that we're seeing from when you're hitting the shield when the grenades are right there could be helpful for him. But he's still in a pretty good spot here if he's able to find the Snake stock.
I don't disagree with you, and we have seen a lot of success coming out from the grabs and the grab and vulnerability whenever we're doing these empty lands, but I also like the mixing in of the shield pressure because Snake doesn't have a great way to deal with shield pressure out of shield if you don't have a grenade pulled. So IcekKnight mixing in some good options here to take up a stock.
Okay, uses the B reverse to land on that platform too, but now IcekKnight gets to control the pace of the game using these water shuriken to poke and not approaching, but waiting for the jump there from Avien instead, and now stringing these up airs together. Yeah, and that landing, you just have to retreat to the platform, which is so scary because IcekKnight, once he gets you to that higher percent, he's looking for that up smash.
That was a nice little combo starter right there. These empty lands have been doing so much work for IcekKnight. I'm glad that you pointed out that it was something that we'd like to see because IcekKnight feels it too. Avien trying on last legs to make something work here, and there it is, the down substitute into landing on the platform, and Avien isn't ready to punish, isn't really available to punish. It's such a quick and good option. IcekKnight just knows the matchup in and out.
No burger.
What?
You said in and out. And I said no
oh,
burger.
That's good. That's really good.
That's not good.
No, it's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. No, it's good. It's
okay.
Good. My failure to recognize the joke does not make it a bad joke.
I don't know that that's true, but it's fine. Getting out of this situation can be really hard, but it feels like Avien is very comfortable just setting up shop underneath that platform and just trying to rack up the percent, making sure that IcekKnight has to shield these grenades, and it's going to stuff out the approach that we're trying to see with like a dash attack or a down tilt into fair and able to find it there instead. So really good stuff there to IcekKnight. I think that the Snake was doing really well for Avien. We kind of threw away the game two with trying min-min, but I think that game 1 went well with Snake, so I think just trying to adapt to the game plan that IcekKnight is throwing could have been more beneficial, but still really good stuff, and I think that he did a good job with dealing with the pressure